Good morning, Torrington. I'm Eric Starkey.
And I'm Crystal Albers. It's Thursday, March 29th.
And you're watching Torrington Today.
Well, in yesterday's paper, you can read all about, if you've been following the Ethan Krager story at all, it's all good news. Last fall, we wrote about he was a Merit Scholar semifinalist. There was only, out of millions who applied, there was only 16,000 that made it or something, or it was around 1 million, I believe. Check that out on the website. But anyway, he made the cut to finalists now, and he'll find out here in the next month or two if he gets a scholarship. So he had to do a lot of legwork to get to that point. So congrats to him. Also, there was an Easter cantata, because it is that time of year, at the First Wyoming Presbyterian Church last Sunday. Our editor Andy wrote a story about going there and kind of the inner workings of the cantata, what it takes to get that sort of show on the road. They do it for Christmas and Easter every year, and I guess they've never repeated it in the last several decades. Never repeated a cantata.
Seems hard to do,
yeah.
But if you're dedicated, you'll do it.
I agree. And then in tomorrow's paper, we've got quite a few stories. Lingle is actually, all the schools in Goshen County are currently working on coding, computer programming, and giving computers commands to do things basically kind of like robotics. It's a little bit over my head, but I'm catching on, because I'm kind of doing a series about what the coding looks like at different schools throughout Goshen County, and this week's is Lingle Fort Laramie. Next week, look for Torrington High School and kind of what the girls there are doing with some coding, and also some boys are doing some robotics stuff. So, also in tomorrow's paper, there was a gas leak yesterday, as some of you may have known if you were sent home.
Sent away from home.
Yes, sent away from home or work. And
or both.
Yes. Eric here was just sent out of town altogether. There's a story about that, kind of what happened and the details about that, as well as several other stories. So I believe Eric has something for main section 2 that I'll let him talk about.
Yes, in tomorrow's paper, last night, Wednesday night at Platte Valley Bank, there was the public input meeting for the Wyoming Game and Fish Department. It was to talk about proposals that Game and Fish was going to propose to the Wyoming Game and Fish Commission to see if those proposals would be acted on or anything like that. And it was a meeting to get public input. There were 2 hot-button issues, to say the least. They were looking at adding more days to the end of the pheasant season down at Springer Wildlife Area. But the concern from the public was it would interfere with the geese that roost there on the reservoirs. So that was one of the issues. The other issue was the Lingle Waterfowl Refuge area, west of Lingle along the North Platte River. It was a handshake agreement in 1979, and now 1 or 2 of the landowners is looking to withdraw from that agreement. And it was a debate last night to see what the best course of action was going forward with that area. So you can read about both those kind of issues in tomorrow's paper. As far as sports go, crack open the sports section while you got the paper, might as well, right?
Yeah.
And in yesterday's paper, you can read about the Torrington and Lingle Fort Laramie track teams. They were both at the Benfield Invite in Scotts Bluff last week, and that was kind of the kickstart for both their seasons. You can read about that in yesterday's paper. In tomorrow's paper, you can read about Torrington Little League spring training. It's almost like the big leagues. They come. They have 4 sessions before the season starts, and this past session on Sunday they had a former University of Nebraska pitcher who pitched in the College World Series, and he's a native to Scotts Bluff, so he came over and worked through the older Little League kids through pitching motions and stretches to help them through pitching, and we'll see if it pays off on the diamond this summer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You can also read about Torrington girls and boys soccer. They both played Gearing on Tuesday. Torrington senior Nathan Stitt had a hat trick, and on top of his 3 goals, he had 4 assists.
Wow.
So he was in on 7 of Torrington's 8 goals.
Wow.
So he's got a pretty good start to the season, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Stay healthy.
Yeah, that's true. So you can read about that in tomorrow's paper.
All right. Well, in upcoming events, it is Easter weekend coming up. So Saturday there are a slew of Easter egg hunts throughout Goshen County. I believe Fort Laramie's is at 1 or 1:30. You're going to have to double check the telegram for this. But Torrington's for sure is at 1 at Pioneer Park. I believe LaGrange is holding one at 1:30 or 1, and then Hawk Springs is going to have one around 10 or 10:30. So you might double check those times. You don't want to be late to an Easter egg hunt. I know those eggs go fast. So if you ever want a park cleaned up, just put everything in little eggs and let some kids out, and it'll be done in no time. So I guess check out those Easter egg hunts and have a nice Easter with your family.
As far as sports go, it is Easter weekend, so the weekend kind of dies down, but we do have track meet today in Baird. Both Southeast and Lingle Fort Laramie will be there. It's Southeast first competitive action of the year, so your first look at your Southeast track stars will be today in Baird. Action started at 9 a.m., but should be going throughout most of the day over there, so you might still have some time to get over there and catch your favorite Goshen County athlete. As far as weather goes, we're kind of up and down. Today's high is 46. Tomorrow we jump to 67, but it's going to be 25 to 30 mile an hour winds all day, so take that 67 with a grain of salt. On Saturday, for your Easter egg hunts, you might want to wear an extra coat. Wear maybe a bunny ears hat or something to keep your ears warm. Because it's 37 and partly cloudy for the high on Saturday for those Easter egg hunts.
So you're saying the chocolate won't melt at least?
That's that's one way to look at it. For April Fool's Day and Easter, on Sunday the high is 57. That's not an April Fool's joke. That is the high. It's partly cloudy on Sunday for Easter. So for family Easter egg hunts, it might not be too bad of conditions. So,
but this will be our last ever video. April Fool's.
Okay, well, it might be. I might quit doing the video after something like that. Anyway, we'll probably see you next week. I'm Eric Starkey.
And I'm Crystal Albers.
And you've been watching Torrington Today.